It's been absolutely crazy. I just can't believe that I've known you for that long, and I've been doing this podcast, like I was saying to you before we went live, for about 6 years in different names, branding, whatever. And I've not had you on a single episode. I just think that's diabolical.
I know we've talked about it before. It's just we could never get like our schedules to align. I know what it's like being busy all the time.
Yeah, yeah, we're both just swamped busy, and I just think it's cool that we've like, I guess, stayed like the course, because I know I've talked in other interviews and like on Facebook and different things where I've been like, oh, I used to like sneak into a club when I was 16 and go see this band that I thought was cool because they played Alice in Chains and Korn. That was a band Nate was in, guys. Just an FYI. If it wasn't for this guy, I don't know where I would be in the universe. And I'm just gonna be very honest about that. That's not me like trying to give anybody an ego or inflate anybody's head, but like if it wasn't for like that band at that point in my life, even if you guys were playing to a couple people at a bar, it was still like, this is amazing. Like I needed that at that time, and I definitely wouldn't have pursued my world of music if it wasn't for that.
I've known since the first day I met you that we were going to be friends for life. Just your bubbly attitude and everything. I remember we actually the first time that I met you was at a Nailers game. You're right, and we played in between periods. And I remember like being in the corner on the other side of the glass prepping, getting ready, and it was just the band and the sound guy and like Naylor's staff was around. And I saw this young girl walking around with like a bobber hat on. I'm like, she's got to be like the owner's daughter or something because there's no way that she would have access down here. It just comes to be that you were just a fan, just hanging out and having fun. And I met you that night, and it was we've been friends ever since.
I remember somebody asked me if I was y'all's manager that night.
Dude, I looked. I was like, I looked. My dad was in the band at the time, and I looked at him. I was like, "Is she? Is her like? Is she like the owner's daughter or something? Just like walking around with no press pats or nothing, just
I
hanging
still
out."
do
I'm
that
like,
shit. I still do that shit. I'll be in venues with no credentials, and security will be like, "How did you get in here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just here. I know whoever." And then they're just like, "Oh, I guess you can be here." Like that happens. That happened to me on the last Panther run I was in. I was just hanging out with like my friends. We were just chilling in the venue and stuff. And it wasn't until like the last show that security finally asked me for a credential because like me and my friend were making a TikTok. Like it was so funny. I was like, I've been in here for 2 hours. I don't even think the band's in here anymore. Like, why are you asking me for this? It was so funny. But yeah, I very distinctly remember that man walking over to me being like, "Are you their manager?" And I was like, "No." "Well, you look like you should be." I was like, "What?" And me being like 15, 16, I was like, "Oh, he thought I was their manager."
it's crazy
Oh,
to
that
see
was
how far you've come from that to now you're touring with bigger bands and doing your thing. I'm so proud and happy to see where you are at life right now, for
I'm
sure.
proud to see where your band's been going too, man. We both been doing our thing and grinding.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a grind. Yeah.
Life definitely be grinding all the time, and it's been crazy. And that's why like I said before, bringing this podcast back, I was like, I have to bring Nate on because Nate's the only one I can do this first episode with. Because the amount of just craziness that's been going on in the last 2 to 3 years, and why this podcast kind of got put on a halt for a little bit. Like I think a lot of people know my mom passed away a couple years ago, and Nate's band played at the memorial show that we did for her, which was absolutely incredible. It was a great night. Definitely everything she would have wanted, but that definitely put a halt on things. And then I just got super swamped working with Ace Frehley, and just I didn't have the time. I tried to relaunch this podcast last year, but I couldn't really stick with it. But I'm determined this time, sticking with it.
Yeah. Well,
Eat,
sometimes
cup,
you get
more, sticking.
yeah, sometimes you got to pick and choose what's more important, and if you got to put some things on the side burner to fulfill other things that you want to do, sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah, life's all about balance sometimes, I find. And sometimes you gotta, even if you like doing something, you gotta put it on the back burner to be able to do other things that you need to do or feel obligated to do or whatever that is. But I'm definitely happy to be back. And I know you guys have a new single out because I was trying to
Yeah,
put one of your songs on. It was the first song that popped up on Instagram when I was making my post today.
yeah, we released 4 songs last year. The last song that we released is called "Business as Usual," and it was on the we released that on the 26th of December. So it's pretty fresh and still new for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. I think the cool thing with you guys is you guys have a sound about you. It's kind of, I'm not comparing you guys musically to Alice in Chains, so just follow me on this journey for a second. You guys do the same thing that Chains does in the aspect of like everything sounds different, but it sounds like you guys. Like you guys can have a super heavy song, but then something super melodic or something like really light, and it all kind of, but it still sounds like you guys. As other bands kind of, they sound like different bands in different songs when they bounce around, or everything sounds like the same song.
Yeah, we definitely want to try, like, whenever during the writing process, we want to try to keep like our core intact when writing, but we've never wanted to kind of like chain ourselves to like a specific sound or a specific genre. So when it comes to the writing process and releasing new music, we kind of like try to cut out all the noise on the outside and just kind of write what we feel. And but also, try and keep like our core sound, I guess you could say. But I mean, if you listen to the last four singles that we did, they're very night and day different types of songs, but also like you said, yeah, you can definitely tell that it's us. And I feel like we finally found our brand, I guess you could say, like our specific sound, especially from our first record that we released. It's like all over the place. We're trying to find who we are as a band. Me and Bryce and Kyle have been playing together for 20 some years. So we have a lot of music that we've released back in the day too. But it feels like now at this point at our age and how long we've been together, we feel like we have the sound that we've always wanted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. And it definitely feels like I find like a lot of bands on their first album, like not to keep bringing up Alice in Chains, but if you look at their first album, their stuff's all over the place. Like some of
Oh
their
yeah.
stuff sounds like jazz and it's great, but it's everywhere. I find like a lot of bands do that. And then as they start to like go in, then it like they finally settle into their sound. And that's usually where like the magic happens per se.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Don't feel bad about comparing us to Alice in Chains. I take that as a huge compliment.
Yeah, I find like, and I even find that with like Jerry Cantrell's solo stuff because I was like binge listening to his like a couple of his solo albums today while I was out driving, and it's the same thing with him. Like you listen to his first solo album, and it's kind of, it's not as everywhere as some of the other albums are, but then you listen to like Brighton, which he released in 2019, 2018, somewhere in that window, and it's very like concise and like he's in the motion of it per se. So like I find that like artists sometimes just have to find their bearings and stuff. And I
Yeah,
think that's really cool that you guys did that. I know there's definitely, for those of you who don't know Nate's band, they're very like, I get very Corn Chevelle sort of vibes, but not like in a copycat kind of way. And I mean that as a compliment.
I like it. Well,
Because
Corn
obviously I
Corn is
know
my
that
favorite band
you're,
of all time, so I'll take
yeah,
that
I know
any
that
day.
you are a big fan of Head, obviously. I
Oh yeah,
remember not this band, but when you guys were still in Shrouded and Neglect, that you guys had opened for Love and Death at Altar
yeah,
Bar. Rest in peace.
yes. One of my favorite venues of all time. I wish it was
I
still
miss that
open.
venue.
Yep.
I'm like the dad when I'm driving my out of town friends in Pittsburgh and I'm driving in the strip district. I'm like, that used to be a bar.
Yeah.
That used to
Right.
be a venue.
Yep. And the guy who owned the McDonald's next to it was a prick. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember that guy at all. He would always try to charge people for parking.
Or like kick people out if he knew they were going to the concert. He'd be like, "You guys have 30 minutes to eat, and then you have to leave." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, calm down." Like you literally are in like one of the busiest districts in Pittsburgh. What are you talking about? I'm glad that place got torn down.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a parking lot now. It's either a parking lot or a bank. I forget, or
It's been a
both.
minute since I've been up in that area actually.
Every time I go back, I still come back down to Pittsburgh probably like once or twice a month just to like see friends and like photo shoots, all that stuff. And it's very fun, but I always have to go to the strip district. That's like my go-to. I have to go to Permane Brothers, like the OG Permane Brothers. It's
Oh
just like
yeah.
mandatory. I know a lot of Pittsburghers give me shit about that. They're like, "How can you like Permane Brothers?" I'm like, "I do. Leave me alone."
Well, I mean, a lot of Pittsburghers they like to hate on it because it's very popular outside of there. So when they tell you they don't like it, they're lying.
They are lying. They're in denial that they actually like Permane Brothers.
Yeah, for sure, for
It's
sure.
crazy. I do remember very distinctly that Love and Death show that you guys opened for. My mom came with me, and my mom was just kind of like, my mom didn't really know that music very well, so she was just kind of like, "What's going on? Why am I here?" And I was just like, "I'm just here chilling. I don't know what's going on." And I just remember like after the show, I like ran up to her, and I was like, "Valerie," because I would always like full name my mom for those who don't know. I'd be like, "Valerie, this was the best night ever. I want to do this for my life." And she was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And then plot twist, 10 years, 12 years later, here I am. But
Yeah,
it was just, yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy to me. I to kind of go back for a second because like those days were wild because like I didn't realize how much they were kind of like growing. And I'm sure you probably feel the same way because I feel like any era of your life, you kind of don't realize how much you're growing. And then after it, you look back on it, you're like, holy shit.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, you don't realize how much influence like that, especially at that age, and those things that you like that you see at that time, like how much it influences you later in life, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy. Hi, David. Hi, little Bree. I was just seeing the comments real quick. Yes, Permane Brothers. Brianna is from Mass. For those who don't know, this girl's gonna kill me because I have a bunch of random people following her online, and people know her at shows now because of me. But she is from Mass, and the first time I took her to Permane Brothers, she was like, "This is amazing."
I don't see any comments or any people watching. I'm trying to see if
Weird.
I can figure that out.
I know StreamYard's weird like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys have coming up for 2026? Anything kind of brewing?
Right now, we've got a couple festivals in the summertime set, and we're doing Pool Party Palooza again, which is always a great time up there in Tiffin. And we're also going to do the tattoo convention down in Wheeling again this year. But we're mainly focused right now on finishing our rehearsal space. We still got a lot of work to get it done. So like our main focus is really like breaking down to try to get that place done and ready. We're able to rehearse in there, but we also want to use it as a recording and a like a content building hub. So once we get that done, then we'll be focusing more heavily on booking and stuff like that. We want to stay on pace like we did last year with the recording and releasing singles on a regular basis. So we'll be working on new music and stuff like that for sure. But it's been a really tough last few weeks. It's really hard to like get in the motions during the holiday season because we've all got families and stuff like that, and everybody's experienced some things over the last few weeks with family in the hospital and stuff like that. So we've all got just weird. It's been a very weird last month or so. So we've been kind of focusing on family stuff and then also trying to get the rehearsal space done. But once we get that done, then we can focus on other things.
Definitely. Well, it's like what we were talking about earlier in the show. Sometimes you have to deal with other things that you have to deal with before you can go to the things that you want to, or vice versa. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
definitely, family always comes first too. So
Yeah, my dad just had to have quadruple bypass surgery. So
we
he's
love you,
still
Jimmy.
yeah, he's still in the hospital, but he's recovering. He's doing really well. And we've had some other family members within the band and stuff that have ended up in the hospital and stuff like that. I don't want to discuss, other
Other people's
members'
stuff. Yeah.
personal lives, but there's just been some things that we've all been dealing with on the home front that we gotta all kind of deal with for the time being. But other than that, once we get into a little bit of better weather, then we'll be hitting it hard for sure.
I also feel like everybody, like once you get into January, it's just kind of like this. I want to, like, it's time to catch up on sleep, catch up on doctor appointments,
Yeah,
and catch up on just like being a human. Because I personally, I was gone for most of December. So when I came back, it was like an abrupt halt of just, wait, where am I? How do I be a human again? How do I do laundry? Is my car registration like not expired? Like it's that like abrupt halt of like, wait, I don't know what I'm doing with my life now. Hold on, how do I be an adult? And then it's like, oh, okay, I'm back in this now. Cool.
yep. And when you're going a million miles an hour all year long, and then the weather starts to get bad, all you want to do is be a hermit. You know what I mean? So it's kind of nice to slow down a little bit, let the snow come and go, catch up on some home stuff and some family stuff, and hit it hard again once the weather starts to break.
Yeah, definitely. We got like a false spring over here in Pennsylvania,
I know
eastern Pennsylvania.
yeah, it was 60 degrees 2 days ago, and now it's like, I want to say it's like 18 degrees now. Welcome to the Midwest.
Yeah, literally. I feel like that was how it was when I was out there last month because I was in Kentucky and it was like 20 degrees but felt like 5 or something crazy. And then the next day we just drove to Cincinnati, which was like an hour and a half away, and it was like 50 degrees or something like that. I was like, what is going on out here? Like I know the Midwest is crazy, but that was like extra crazy.
Yeah, and the change in weather like that just makes everybody sick, and it's like, just get away from me. I don't want nothing to do with that. Especially with
Oh yeah.
kids
Well,
in
it was
school,
crazy.
it's just like everybody's coming home sick, and
Yeah, and like you have kids too, so like they kind of like breed that to a point. Like they
oh
they
yeah,
definitely drag that stuff around. That's the one thing like I'm grateful for. Like somehow last month, like I did that run like the beginning of December, and then I went and did a run with God forbid, and then I was out working with Circus Soleil. And I did all of those shows and did not get sick. Everybody's texting me like I'm at home dying. I have the flu. I'm in the hospital, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna take more vitamins and hope, and drink some more whiskey and hope for the best. Because like I don't know what's I'm like dodging the sickness, like I'm like the Matrix.
well, good. I'm happy that you haven't gotten sick. It's running around in this house for sure. I mean, it's not too bad right now, but I'm sure it's going to be coming.
Yeah, I mean mid January, I feel like it's always like hit or miss. I remember last February when I was out with Ace. Well, it was right before I left with Ace. I got really, really sick. I don't really know what I had. I think I just had like a virus or something because like I wasn't coughing. I wasn't really. I felt like really like stuffy, and then my head was just spinning. Like if I sat up too long, like the room would start spinning. And then it
Yeah.
finally kind of like went away, but then I had to like go do a run. So I'm like, oh shit. So I'm in Florida, going from Pennsylvania to Florida in like mid-February. So now like the temperature change has my like sinuses just like extra killing me. And I'm just like, I can't breathe. I don't know what's going on. My contacts get every time I go to Florida, my contacts get stuck in my eyes. So I'm just like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Tell me about these runs. What's it like? I'm
It's
jealous.
fun. Weekends are fun. Weekends are fun. Nate is taking over my podcast. I love this. No, I'm joking. Weekends are fun. I like doing them a lot. I definitely am hoping this year I could get back on like a full length tour, maybe a bus tour or something like that, van tour. I don't really care. But I like doing the weekends because it's very like you go really hard for 3 days and then you go home for a couple days. Definitely working with Ace was a very good part of my life. I miss him very much, and it was a fun 2.5 year run with him. It was a lot of fun. I have a lot of really great memories from that.
That's cool. That's awesome. I'm
Yeah,
happy
and he
you're
was a
out there doing your thing.
when I met you when I was 16, Nate. I never would have thought I was going to be working for Ace Frehley one day, but there I was.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
You
Something else that I haven't really posted about. I got this right after he had passed away. I don't know if you guys can see that.
oh, that's
But he
awesome.
drew that for me over the summer, and then I just like kept it, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get this eventually." And then I was like, "You got to get it now. You got to get it now." So I miss all those guys very much. I'm very excited because we're hit a couple of my crew guys from Ace's crew are playing in an Aussie tribute band that are playing on Staten Island on Friday night. So if any of you are from New York watching that want to come, I will put that in the comments once I get off of here because I don't know how to find that on here. I'm a boomer. It's fine. I feel like a boomer half the time. Like, how does this work? How does the internet work?
We're like the only generation who has experienced like life without tech and life with tech. It's either like older generation, like before, like older than us. Well, I mean, I'm obviously a lot older than you, but like it's weird how like the generational gap works like between your generation and mine. We're like the only generation who has experienced life with and without, so we can
Yeah.
navigate both. But the older generations have no idea what's going on, and the younger generations have no idea how to be without it.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me because like I see kids now like that are like 8 And I'm gonna sound like an asshole for a second, but I see these kids that are like 8 years old that are like, I have like this new iPhone or whatever. I'm like, dude, I couldn't even get my mom to get me one of those Motorola Racers when I was in middle school. Like, what do you mean that you have like that you're mad because you don't have the brand new iPhone that's out? Like, bro, you're 12. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was so reluctant to get my boys. They were, 14, 15 when they got their first phones, but they were on my ass for years before that to get them one.
Well, I feel like that's a good age though. I feel like even nowadays, like even like 12, 13, but I feel like an 8-year-old having a giant ass phone is just crazy.
Yeah, right.
It's just crazy. Thanks, Bree. The event page for No More Tears in the comments section. This is why I bring up Bree in all of my podcasts that I do and why everybody knows her. I met Bree at a Steel Panther show, which seems to sum up most of my life, and then I just never left her alone after that. I would not have a social life if it was not for Steel Panther.
I bet it was wild being on the road with those guys.
I got to do photos for them a bunch of times, and like that was really fun. I love those guys. They're like family to me. They're just such cool people. I love them, especially like their crew guys. Their sound guy Nick Rucker. Shout out to Nick Rucker because I love that guy. He's so funny and he's one of the best human beings I've ever met in the industry. Um, and they're all like just amazing human beings. I love those guys. They're great. They're great people. I can't wait to go see them again because their show's great. Yeah, in Norfolk, Virginia. I don't know. Nate, have you ever been to Norfolk, Virginia? That's a very
I-
oddly specific place.
I've been through. I've got family that lives in Virginia Beach, so I've been in that area many times.
That's such a cool, like, it's such a cool, weird pocket because, like, I feel like there's like the army base. So there's like a lot of military people roaming around. And then there's just like college kids roaming around. And then there's just like the people that want there to retire. So it's just very sporadic people everywhere.
Yeah,
That
Virginia
area
Beach
is
is a
wild.
lot. Virginia Beach is a lot of the same too. They've got the military base, and then they've got the retirees, and then you've got all the beach goers. It's like all in one spot.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just like how do all of these people like coexist in the same area? It's just so weird. It's just so weird to me. Um, but yeah, Nate, tell everybody where everybody can find your band out. I see that David posted your band link in the comments, which was very helpful. But where everybody can find your music on all the streaming, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we're everywhere. If you have a streaming subscription, I guarantee you that we're on it. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, iTunes, Deezer, all the streaming sites. You can also find us on TikTok and Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff too. And I highly suggest swinging by our website because our website is where it's at. If you go to theriaca.net, then you can find all of our links to all of our streaming services there. You can watch all our music videos from YouTube there, find all the direct links to all of our social platforms from right there. And you can also, you can give us your money too by buying merch, all that good
Go
stuff.
buy their merch. Go buy it now.
We're all
One
we're
more
all
thing
about
I
people.
want.
Yeah, we're all
One
about
more.
people listening to our music and checking us out on streaming, but we all know that that doesn't pay shit. So,
No, helps pay the bills, which
yeah.
I definitely know better than most people.
Yeah, that's
Merchandise helps pays a lot of people's bills.
yep, that's what bands are these days. We're traveling t-shirt salesmen.
I love that. I love that. That's so funny. But one more thing I wanted to touch on before I let you go. I think it was summer of 2024. I did a shoot with you guys
Yeah, yeah,
in
up
an
in
old
Pittsburgh.
bank in Pittsburgh, and that was really fun. I think that was the last time I saw you.
Yeah, I think that was the last time that we had that we saw each other face to face. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really fun day. That was a really cool venue, and I was very like excited to shoot there. That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was an awesome spot. And we're desperately in need of photos again. So we might have to be getting a hold of you if you're still into doing that stuff.
Yeah, I'll be back down. Well, I can plug that. That was a good segue, Nate. You set me up for a good segue. I will be back down in the Pittsburgh area in the first week of February, and I have one spot left for my boudoir sessions, which is not have anything to do with Nate's band. But if anybody is interested, please shoot me a message. I have such a dope Airbnb for that. So please hit me up. I got one spot left because they all like blew out. They all like sold up real quick. I'm super excited. But
Have you
yes,
ever
Nate, I
had?
will be around that week if you need band photos. Then I would
Have you
love
ever done any boudoir photos for bands?
like like Dudoir. That'd be funny. I did photos with a
Boudoir, I
band.
love it. I love it.
Dudoir. I did do a photo shoot with the band once where they all got in a bed and I was kind of like, all right, this is weird, but all right. It was like a bunch of dudes just like in this bed. And I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, we'll definitely have to
Bri-
get a hold of you. You'll have to let us know the next time you're in the area. You got some free time because we've got a new bass player since the last time that we've gotten photos done. So we got to get our man Greg back. We got to get him some good
we love
photos with
Greg.
the band.
We
Yeah.
love Greg. I love
Oh
Greg.
yeah.
He's such a cool dude.
Yeah. You've known Greg for years too. Yeah.
Yeah,
You've
I've
been in
known
and
Greg.
out of the
It's so
scene.
funny because I ran into him every time I run into him, and if Greg's watching, hi Greg. Every time I run into him, he again I introduce him to somebody. He's like, I've known her since she was 12. I'm like, I wasn't 12, but okay, close enough. I love Greg. He's so nice. I think the last time I saw Greg was potentially at Stephen Piercy at Jurgles. Yeah, and that was the day before I broke my nose and then had to drive to Michigan for an Ace show, and that's just a very
Oh,
odd
jeez.
story.
Oh man.
Did not break my nose at the Stephen Piercy show. I freaking that was when I started having issues with my neck and thought I like had a stroke. Did not have a stroke. I had a muscle spasm, but yeah. And then I fell on my face. It was great. It was a great time. I love telling that story because it's just so dramatic. It's just so Emmy dramatic of like, yeah, I broke my nose and then I drove like 6 hours to the top of Michigan. It's fine. It was fine. I kept my nose ringing the whole time. It was great.
Jeez.
Absolutely crazy. Well, thanks, Nate. I really appreciate you coming on. And I
Thank you
appreciate
for
everybody
having me. I
else for
appreciate it.
watching the premiere. I'm so happy to be back, guys. I'm going to try to do another live stream next week. So definitely keep an eye on the MSU Media Facebook page for that. I'm very, very excited to be back. And I'll be doing this as long as I have free time on Mondays. I'll be doing live streams. Otherwise, they'll be pre-recorded episodes. But thanks for coming on, Nate. I'm so excited.
Thank you. We get back into like the spring and summer when we start getting things rolling. I'd love to come back on and chat again for sure.
Hell yeah, we gotta get Kyle on next time too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you and Kyle would have a great conversation. I know that for sure.
We're just gonna start yapping about Soundgarden the whole time.
Yeah, right, right.
That's gonna be the entire podcast is Soundgarden. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next week. Bye.